Apologise, Asa. Asa Rehman joins us. Footy Prime. We're going to get some Whitecaps very shortly, but I've got to apologise on behalf of Dan Wong and his racist imagery he used for you. If for some reason, I don't know what you put into Grok, but he sent a picture of Asa riding a grizzly bear. And it wasn't Asa, it was some guy from Aladdin, I'm pretty sure.
It was so racist.
I think
I'm going to pull it up for, well.
I felt a little bad, Wonger, because I think I was out.
Asa.
There you are,
I know,
Asa.
I saw it. My response was delayed, and I felt bad about that, Dan, because I was walking the dog or something. I was away from the phone for a little bit, and we were chatting back and forth, communicating, and then he sent that picture, and it probably took me like 20 minutes or 30 minutes to respond, just because I was like just not looking at the phone at that moment. And afterwards, I felt bad because I was like, "Oh, he probably thought I was really offended by this," and I was
disgusted and offended.
No, I just want everyone to know you're my favorite Fijian Canadian. So it doesn't matter what color you are. I love you.
I love you too, bud.
I think actually Fiji is the one country not in Wonga. So that's
it's not on the map. It's not hard pinned in the map.
I'm sure one of his travel escapades, he's been in Fiji, though. We can be sure of that.
He's had a girlfriend from there.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so listen, pretty big match coming up tomorrow night.
Miami. Massive game.
Vancouver Whitecaps. Let me ask you this. Is the buzz in Vancouver more about, Leo Messi coming to town, or is it about the fact that you got maybe the best team in, I don't know, CONCACAF?
Yeah, great question. It depends who you ask. I think that there is still that the general audience, maybe not necessarily the footy fans, the soccer fans here in the region, that are curious about, Messi, still, arguably the greatest of all time, coming to play in Vancouver. And there is that buzz for sure, because it's a spectacle. But there's the soccer fan here that I think is very excited about the opportunity for the Vancouver Whitecaps to do something they've never done before. I was just thinking about it. This is probably the biggest game for the Vancouver Whitecaps since 1979 Soccer Bowl. And it was actually a semifinal against the New York Cosmos in 79. That was maybe the bigger match than the final against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So, you make those comparisons. And I think, the footy fans in town definitely understand what's at stake here and appreciate the opportunity to take down the great Inter Miami. And it's really cool to kind of draw those comparisons to that Cosmos team and what we're seeing right now with Inter Miami. And that was a really good Whitecaps team that had, maybe not the same star power, but it was just a strong team that worked together to get it done. And it's exactly what we're seeing with the Whitecaps right now. It's a strong 11-15. They've got some players coming off the bench that are looking really good. And I really think that the soccer fans here love it and are really excited about this. They love watching this team play. The last time they played at BC Place, it was a 5-1 win with Brian White scoring 4 goals. And I know a few people went to that game that are still buzzing about it, just saying the games I saw before that, they didn't score type thing or they lost. And then you see that. And it is very different from even last year when and during the Vanni Sartini era where they have some success. This feels different. Like this team looks like the best team in MLS right now.
Sitting number 2 in the power rankings, though.
Yeah.
Are they getting the respect, though, do you think, accorded to them that's deserved?
No, and I don't think they ever will. And I think that's okay, right? I think that the Caps fans understand. I think Vancouver understands that as well. It's the same in hockey. I think that whenever it comes to teams playing out here, they get neglected, and it is, Eastern bias and yada, 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 Sharman says. But you look at the poll and it's exactly that, right? I think that's what makes this team so special. I think they play with the chip on their shoulder and they love the banter. You love seeing the power rankings. You almost want to not be one so you could chirp. Well, what happens if they are number 1? Then what? It's okay. I think they like to be the underdog and say, we're doing this without Ryan Gauld, and there's a lot of reasons why this team is probably the best team in the league, and just not getting the respect. But I think for the most part they're okay with it, because otherwise, what would we talk about?
Going back to the soccer bowl, Craig, weren't you there for that? You were, I think.
Well, I wasn't at the soccer bowl, but
you weren't. Okay.
Both the, if I remember right, the semifinal against New York, and then the final was also played against Tampa Bay in New York, wasn't it? I think, Asa.
So I was not around for that. In my research, saw that the semifinal against the Cosmos, the first game, it was a 2-game series. First game was at Empire. Second game was at in New York.
Nice.
And you're talking about the final. Yeah, the Rowdies final, I believe, was in New York as well.
Yeah.
And it was more, I guess, the excitement. There was more buzz about, from what I read, more buzz about the semifinal, and then the city just exploded and went nuts for winning that championship in '79. But I guess, that was in New York as well.
I suppose.
Asa, sorry, I wanted to ask. It's quite important about the infrastructure with all the bad weather you've been having and the mudslides.
Dang, the best.
Are people going to be able to walk up to BC Place? Is it going to be accessible?
Yeah, I understand. They're handing out umbrellas.
I'll keep going with this shtick.
Yeah. It's going to be sunny, 20 plus. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Roof will be open, as I understand it as well.
Cool.
It should be a great atmosphere. So you can walk to the stadium, and brave the elements if you're so brave.
Hey, from a footballing standpoint, Asa, Messi not playing, is that better for Vancouver? I mean, obviously you think it is.
Of course. I mean, that was the big question for not just Jesper Sorensen, but the players as well. How do you prepare for this game? Do you prepare differently or approach this game a little differently if Messi's on the pitch and if he isn't? And they all said, he's the best in the league. He's the best at kind of what he does. And it's completely different when he's not on the pitch. You definitely have to be aware of him, where he is, how he operates, what he wants to do. So I do think that they have sort of a game plan, but there's going to be an emphasis on how they handle Messi if he is on the pitch. And they must feel better about their chances if he isn't there. Just going through the highlights, the guy's absolutely incredible in tight situations. Obviously, we know this. Like, it's strange breaking down the greatest to do what he does, but it is tough when he gets in that attacking third, especially centrally. So dynamic, so great vision as well. So it really challenges the midfield, but the defenders as well. Do they press? Do they come up? Do they sit back? Who goes where? You have to be aware of him at all times. I'm so excited to see this. I was excited about this opportunity last year if he was coming in, because I think Andres Cubas is the best at what he does in the middle of the park, as far as just kind of snuffing everything out, laying hard, crunching, usually clean tackles, and that would be uncomfortable for Messi. So I was excited about that opportunity last year. I'm excited to see it this year. That middle of the park, it's been the engine for the Vancouver Whitecaps. I think it's probably their strongest position, just with Cubas, Berhalter, Vite, even JC Ngando. If he steps into that position, he's dynamic as well. So so curious to see how all that plays out. And then the center backs strong as well. Tristan Blackman and Ranko Veselinovic. I know that they're really excited for this opportunity.
I'm sure there's also a Miami-based podcast and Miami-based fan base upset that they won't be seeing the Scottish Messi either, because it's not been spoken of too much. This incredible season and these great performances by Vancouver, doing it without their best player, Ryan Gauld. Yeah. And I know your manager Sorensen said that he's still some way away from returning. When he returns, I mean, it sounds crazy, right? He's going to walk back into this starting 11, you would think.
Yes.
But if these results keep going the way they're going, I mean, he's got that magic elixir right now, this coach, with this mix and this blend.
Yeah, but I think that Ryan Gault has the respect of the room, and they understand who he is and what he brings to the table. So he comes in. I think that you would rotate. It's probably one of the wing positions, one of the attacking positions. He'd play at like a 10. So Sabi's been starting there, Ali Ahmed as well, Jaden Nelson. I think that those players would understand and make way and be okay with, being a bench option when Ryan Gault is fully fit and available. It has been really tough to we're seeing him at training now. He's jogging away from the team. So if they're going through the session, he's doing his laps. And you can see he's generally in pretty good spirits, but at the same time frustrated that he's not a part of this right now. He's still the best player on the team. Really incredible what they're doing without him. But I think that once he's available, he gets into that starting 11. They rotate things around. And Jesper, I'm sure, can't wait to have him back in the lineup. It's hard to say when he's going to be available, as Jesper has said, because he keeps saying, the diagnosis is one thing, that it's his left knee capsule sprain, but just his comfort level and where he's at is another thing. So you can say it's this, and it's supposed to be this many weeks, but the player actually has to, feel fit and ready to go. And I guess he's just not quite there yet, and it's hard to say when he will be. Hopefully, I mean, the hope was for this Miami match. That's not going to be the case. And you just hope that it's some point, soon here, because it'd be great to get him back. Sam Adekubi, I think, is closer to returning, just jumping on some of the other injuries. Matthias Laborda was working away from the team on his own, but he looks like he's getting a little bit closer. Jaden Nelson really close as well. So I think Sam and Jaden will at least be available in the match on Thursday.
Two good weapons for them, certainly, right, to add to that collective, because it's really been about the collective under Sorensen, right? When you look at Sartini and the goal contributions and production that they got last year, you had the White and Gauld pairing, and then you had Fafa Pico, right? And then now it's very much been spread all around that collective and the front line and others contributing. But this is their first time, if I'm not mistaken, facing Fafa Pico, right? They're ex-teammates. Yes. So do you think that's kind of part of the subtext too coming into this match? It's obviously Messi in Miami, and it's the semifinals of the CONCACAF Champions Cup, but it's also facing a guy who also was a little bit of a mentor to Ali Ahmed. Yes,
and Ali's really excited to see him again. Ali, got to play against a good friend of his as well last week, Simon Becher. So that was kind of cool for them to kind of chat and connect. And Fafa's another one that Ali really looked up to, and you're right, was a bit of a mentor for him. So I know that they're looking forward to connecting, and you're seeing parts of Fafa's game in Ali Ahmed, and I think that Ali Ahmed quietly is having a really good, solid season. Not getting the goal contributions I'm sure he'd like, but so influential in the build-up and the way that they kind of break out and what they do, and he's so dynamic. So it's been a good season for Ali, and excited to see that. Really excited to see Fafa in action as well, because he's a player that has so much swagger, and that he's looking forward to this as well. I know that he can't wait to play, and some of the Whitecaps are looking forward to going up against him as well. Just going back to Ali and Simon Becher, he said that he wasn't too happy with the little knock that he got from Becher in a collision, and he let him know afterwards as well. So I wonder if Ali and Fafa will have a collision in this game on Thursday.
Do you think that the success, just to follow up on my other question, that Ali's had this year, like we're seeing him, I think, perform to the almost like the expectations that everybody had for him, like there's this ceiling on his game that I don't know if we've truly seen him attain yet, but he's sort of ascending in every performance. Do you think it's part of it is the way that he's deployed, where he has less defensive responsibility under Sorensen and more consistency, and kind of he's always going to progress the ball, he's always going to take on, but he's getting into more dangerous areas because his starting point is just higher up the pitch?
That's a great point, Dubs. And I hadn't really thought about that as much, but that's exactly what Jesper Sorensen kind of preaches with the group. when he gives direction to each player, it's definitely to their strengths. So even if it's, the same position, I asked him about this with Sam Adekubi and Tate Johnson. And he said that they're different players. They have different strengths. So the instruction is going to be a little bit different for each. It's the same position that they'll be playing. They'll have similar responsibilities, but you're going to play to their strengths a little bit more. And I think Ali Ahmed's a great example of that, where, his strength is like having the ball, going at people. And after training on Tuesday, it was really cool to see. Jesper Sorensen had Ali Ahmed and JC Ngannou, who are these players that like to take people on. And Jesper Sorensen was working on kind of defending them and like teaching them which way to go and use these moves. Really, really unique to see, like just him being right there on the pitch, going through this drill, this kind of attacking and shooting drill. And it was really fun to see him like kind of break down like how you should move in these moments. And Jesper Sorensen instilling like a lot of knowledge and really influencing these guys. And I think that's a great point. Like he really encourages Ali Ahmed to play to his strengths, which is going at people and then maybe making a pass or having that finish from distance or whatever it is. But it's definitely a difference between the two coaching philosophies.
Most parts of the world have got rid of the away goals rule, but in this competition, the away goals rule counts. Do you see Vancouver setting up a little bit differently because of this? And does it affect the way they approach this first game?
Yeah, I mean, it's worked for the Whitecaps so far in this competition. I don't know how much they really think about it in the first leg, or maybe throughout the matches, you need to get a goal or things like that, like as it kind of plays out. But I imagine with the first game at home, the focus is always like making sure that they don't score, obviously. But that hasn't worked out for the Caps every time in this competition. And I think you have to kind of go after the game and try to win that first game. And then based off what the scoreline is, then I think, it influences and impacts that second game. And that's, I think, for the most part, how they've kind of handled this so far. Because if you get too cute with it, you could kind of mess things up, essentially, or focus too much on it, especially in the first leg. But I think for Thursday, and to the delight of the fans, I think the Caps will be going after that game. You can't really, go goalless, 0-0. Into Miami. So I think they'll be going after this game, and excited to see it play out. And watching the Miami matches so far this season, there are goals to get in this game against this Miami team. So I'm excited to see Brian White maybe get a couple. So we'll see how this plays out. And I think that there's some things this is a really exciting one for Jesper Sorensen fans as well, because I think that this is his biggest challenge in this game. And one of the things that he's talked about in coaching in this league is that every team has a different style, and you're seeing a Danish coach who's able to like do something a little bit different for each game. So it is like a bit of a chess match, or you have this little game plan for each game, and then you see how it works out. He says in other parts of the world, in Europe in particular, there's the Spanish style, there's the German style. And then when you're in that league, you understand that style. In MLS, he's saying that every team has their own style. So every week you're going up against something quite different. I think he's excited about this, and I am as well, to see like how his plan plays out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, how many coaches have overthought playing Messi over the years? Let's deep block, let's sit back at home, and then you get burned for 3 goals. You can't do it, right? Yeah, you have to go at them at home. Dubs mentioned the word collective, and that's precisely what this team's been throughout the season. We're a quarter of the way through the MLS campaign. If you were to name, you have to name an MVP at this point in this season. You mentioned Kubas, he's been brilliant. Brian White scored tons of goals. Sabby's looked really good at times. Who's your MVP at this point?
I think it's Brian White. Seems an obvious one because he scores the goals, but I think it's because of the stuff that he does when he's not scoring. And it's such a hard position. Like, you look around the league, you look around the world, and whether a team's succeeding or not, it's usually the 9 position. It's usually the striker, It's like, if only we had that guy for whatever team that's not working right now. Or if they are doing well, they probably have that guy. So I think it's Brian White, and we're seeing it right now with Gould out. Like, okay, like obviously this team can do okay without Ryan Gould. There's been patches or stretches without Brian White, and the team in the past has kind of struggled. Like maybe we'll use, going back to Fafa Pico. I think they kind of use Fafa Pico, or we'll go with like 2 strikers and try to figure it out. When Brian White comes out of the lineup, you start to, wonder, can the next person do it? And right now they have Daniel Rios, who's doing okay, and in the moments that he's had. But you look at the lineup pretty much every week. He's the first name on the team sheet, isn't he? Like Brian White has to be out there to make it all work. Not even score the goals, but to make it all work. To have Ali Ahmed doing what Ali does, to have Emmanuel Sabi do what he does, Vite inside. It's all because White is doing what he does in the middle, whether it's defensively or finishing. So for me, I think Brian White's probably the most valuable player on this team. It's
the goals, but he also seems to be highly likable, not only by the fans, but also by his teammates. Like I was talking to Sarita about it. She was a sideline reporter for the inaugural game for NSL, and she's a delight. I adore her. I think this team, like Vancouver Whitecaps, passed the vibe check, and Sarita passes the vibe check in spades. Like she just imbues everybody with this great energy. But after he scored 4, there was not only the video of him talking to a young kid like that accompanied him out onto the pitch before kickoff, and they were talking, and then he had asked him to do the gritty if he scored. And he was like, I will never ever do the gritty again. I apologize for what that looked like, but it was for this young kid. So 1, tick the box there, extremely likable, doing something for a young fan. And then 2 was after he finished his on-pitch interviews, came out, and then I think the Vancouver Whitecaps staff had the video or the camera trained on him, but other people did as well. So I saw a couple of different perspectives, but it was Ryan Gauld, it was Sam Adekubi, and I believe to St. Ricketts, and they were waiting for him. And they just looked like kids had just kicked the ball around at the park, and they put their arms around each other and were jumping up and down and celebrating as they walked down the tunnel. So they just seem to be firing on all cylinders, doing everything right on the pitch, but also everything right off the pitch. So I think as a Vancouver Whitecaps fan, that has to leave you feeling pretty good about the state of this squad. Yeah,
you're exactly right. It's good vibes all around, and maybe Surya Patel's the MVP of this team, because she's the one that's you're right. Everyone loves her and Brian White, but that goes around. I think that's genuinely right now, the entire team. They definitely play for each other, and probably a nod to Vanni Sartini for kind of implementing that is the fact that he's said this over and over again. Anytime we would talk about Ryan Gauld or something, Vanni Sartini would quickly remind us that it's about the team, not the individual. And they've completely bought in, and that goes top down throughout the lineup. So it's really cool to see everyone kind of play for everyone else. And everyone's liked on the team, right down to Yohei Takaoka, who's I think one of my favorites as well. So you can go through the list.
Least likable of the likable, you're saying? Because you said right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. The basement of likable.
He probably is, and he's one of my favorites. That's how likable this team is. Yeah,
he's the Wagner of the Whitecaps.
Yeah, Yohei's the best.
He seems like a nice guy, but nothing like the rest of them.
No. That's about right.
I'll tell you what, though, I mean, it's some sporting story so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
This season could have been derailed quite easily with all the bullshit about the ownership and all that, but that's just been quieter now. There's talk of this new stadium. There's this great performance. Leo Messi's in town. I mean, if you were told 2 months ago, where this club's actually at right now, I don't think you would have believed it.
No chance. No, you're right. All of it, it's all got a positive spin right now. It's all got perfume drenched all over it, right? Even the talk of the sale and everything, it's but they could be here, and you basically have people just doctoring up these renderings of stadiums that could be here because they're so excited about this team staying in Vancouver. So there's a lot of really good buzz about the group right now, and no one could have seen this coming. Not even me with my optimistic 8th place.
Very smart though.
Projection.
But it's almost it's threading the needle, right? Navigating of serendipity a little bit too, where a sold out stadium, and how long? Like, what was it? 48 hours it was sold out, Asa?
Yeah, for this Miami match.
Yeah. First place, you know, a late goal to get into this semifinal.
Yeah. You're
like
right.
all of these things are lining up, and we don't want the story to end. Here's the thing. I want this story to continue, because talking about the stadium, the new stadium, perhaps the market for Vancouver, with the women's national game match a couple weeks ago, with the NSL launching out of Vancouver, this is turning into such a great story, and I just wanted to keep continuing.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds wasn't up to this. Like, I feel like someone's like written this thing out and set this thing up, right? It's remarkable. Everything is coming up Whitecaps right now. You're right. You don't want it to end, and you can taste it. I think that's the tricky part right now, is that you understand that this match, the semifinal, is not going to be easy, but you don't want this fairy tale to end just yet, because the team is so close to reaching the final, and then why not, right? It's very much this why not us team right now when it comes to this competition. I think that I think they'll continue to do well in MLS play in the regular season. They'll probably finish in the top 4 with the way things are going right now, which is crazy to even think about, the fact that they've got such a buffer in that competition and looking so good so early in the season. But you really don't want this fairy tale to end, because the team's looking so good right now, and you can taste it. This Champions Cup run that like no one saw coming, and I think they've got a real shot to actually win it.
And Brian White scoring 2 goals tomorrow night, which is what you said earlier, that Brian White will score 2 goals. So
I'll take 2 Brian White goals. No, I think we'll. What about Ali? I think Ali gets on the score sheet. Let's see Ali Ahmed get one.
Really? So 3 goals at home tomorrow against Inter Miami.
Gosh,
love it.
Why not?
Love the confidence.
Hey, looking at that the Columbus Crew game against Miami, though, there were chances. Like, I'm so curious to see just the attacking side of things. I think Messi and what Miami does on the attack is another thing. Like, that's going to be tricky, but I'd love to see the Whitecaps get some goals, right, and make this thing interesting, and see if then Miami starts committing players forward or coming in the attack, and the Caps can get more chances. 6-1 final. What?
Everything's coming up Whitecaps.
Yeah.
Are you working tomorrow, or are you just there as a fan?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I applied for the credentials. I might be going there for global with the camera. I'm not sure. Yeah, just taking it all in. I'll find a way to be there, though, for sure.
Yeah,
I'll
so it's going to be a great
report
event,
for Footy Prime. Forrest, are you going, Krager?
Yeah, I'll see you there, buddy.
Okay, I'll see you there. Now I'll go.
Although I haven't got confirmation back from Nathan, but I think it's okay.
You'll be fine.
Just wear your kit, Craig.
That's what I was going to say.
One of your family can have one of your kits. You just put it on. Full kit, though, like shorts, gloves.
I think though, if you play the game, you can't be a full kit wanker. If you play the game.
No, you still can be.
If Craig went in full gear, including his gloves, like goalkeeper gloves,
cleats, everything.
But it used to be like the really short ones that he wore with Ipswich, I think, really early on.
Yeah.
Where it balanced out his torso because the shorts were only like 3 inches long.
Quite revealing, Craig.
Yeah. They elongated his thighs.
Yeah.
That's good. Asa,
now, be prepared, Asa, though. Sorry, Sharms. I was just going to say, be prepared, Asa, if you do run into Forrest, be prepared to snap pics of Forrest with other people. Be prepared to
that becomes my job. Yeah, no,
yes,
I get it.
It does.
Just a thing.
You're the assistant.
Yeah.
Craig's assistant. Take some pics.
I'll do it gladly.
So if you are going to the game tomorrow night, listeners, search out Craig Forrest and please ask him for pictures. Okay, you can take as many as you want with him. Selfies. Yep. He loves it. He loves it. And
you can put your hand on his bum. He likes being touched.
He likes to grab.
No, don't do that.
But make sure you send them on the Twitter sphere on Instagram.
He told me before this podcast to say that. He's shy. He's a bit shy.
We want to see them all. Okay, so if you are at the game and you see Craig, get pictures of him. Okay, and send it to us. Asa, thanks, pal.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Thank
yourself.
you.
And great season so far. Long may it continue with a big victory tomorrow night.